All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to a surprise session of Meet the Makers. Today, we are going to be doing a deep dive of the new website with Monica and Elizabeth. And so, my name is Alex Francor. If you haven't heard of me yet, then you haven't watched any of the Meet the Maker sessions. I'm head of product at Xata, and today I am joined by Elizabeth and Monica. And so, Elizabeth, maybe a quick introduction of yourself.
Hi everyone. So my name is Elizabeth Oliveira. I'm from Portugal, Lisbon. Currently, I'm living in Aveiro. I'm a senior product designer at Zeta, and in my free time, I'm a rapper. I used to record. I recorded the album in 2008, and for a for a long time I was a hip hop artist, and then I quit and I just became a designer and also a UI developer, and I just stopped performing. And after 15 years without performing, there are some people start asking me to do shows again. So last year I did one show. Yesterday I did one show too after so long, and that's it. So basically, my free time, sometimes I just do music, and that's it.
That's it. That's a big it. Hip hop artist, designer, coder. Yeah, that's amazing. If check out her Twitter, Elizabeth's Twitter, because she has some cool posts. And Monica, quick introduction of yourself.
Yeah, after hearing the introduction for Elizabeth, it's really, really cool. My introduction would be very, very lame. So I'm a CEO and founder of Xata, and I'm living in Berlin. And I think what's exciting, what I feel like is exciting, what I'm doing in my free time. I don't have so much free time, but when I do have, I like baking, and actually not so much baking itself, but decorating birthday cakes especially. So that's me.
Nice, great. Well, I'll dive in with a couple of questions, maybe specific to the website. And I guess Monica, maybe I'll start with you. And if at a very high level, like what kind of changes did we make to the website and our brand? And I know this we've been talking about it for quite some time. So, what were some of the larger changes that we just rolled out?
Yeah, so actually we redesigned completely our website. There were quite a few of iterations. We have been working on this together in this team for quite some time. And actually what we wanted to kind of make it central to the website is that we are also offering a Postgres service. And actually this will be the core of the Xata as a platform, and we want to kind of make this more obvious in our website. So we are really excited about how the website turned out to be. Is really, really lovely. I think Elizabeth managed to put really nice designs, and you're going to see it, and I hope you're going to like it. And if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear about your feedback, and and if there is anything that we can improve, we'd love to do that.
Yeah, and if anyone remembers our site before, it was very focused on our developer workflow, and I'd say that we, outside of focusing more on the Postgres aspect, we also highlight the platform in a bit more detail. Elizabeth introduced a number of feature pages, and we also have some drill downs for some of our open source projects as well. So there's a lot more there, and it's a lot more to navigate. And the design itself, I think, came out absolutely wonderful. And so, Elizabeth, maybe I'll pass it to you. What's your favorite part of the new site?
I think it's because we finally figure out like the brand. For a long time, I was trying to what is like the brand. I remember I joined Zeta almost 1 year ago, and when I joined, Monica told me that almost every startup websites like related with tech were very masculine, and she wanted a brand more feminine. And one of the obvious things that we did was like to change the logo to be like pink, and pink is a very feminine color, and then the purple maybe it's more like tech. And we changed the logo for that, and then we changed the brand, start introducing those colors. But then for a long time we changed the website the first time, and but I was not happy yet with the direction. Like something was missing. Also, we wanted to make it a little bit fun, and I was trying to force to put some mascots on the website, and it was never working. And I think this was like the second attempt, and I think this time it worked, and I was pretty happy now with this. Now I'm pretty happy with what we achieved, and I think that was one of the challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, the first mascot I recall seeing from you was a cat. It was like the cutest cat ever. But I think we've definitely, I don't know. I think our mascots are amazing, and it's really fun to see it pop out, like everyone just interacting with the page. And Monica, what's your favorite part of the website?
I really like the mascots. I really like that it has so much more content than before. And we managed to, because before, I think this is the biggest difference in terms of content. We have much more content now. It's well structured. We also highlight a bit more the open source project that we have been working on lately. Check it out. And I think what Elizabeth said, I really like it, that it's more feminine and it looks very different than what you have or what people are used to see as a database website. And the mascots, I think they're really lovely, and they kind of give you this unique touch, I think, unique view.
Yeah, and the mascots that we're talking about are the ones on the website right now, but we also do have Elizabeth has like an open source like Xata project mascot too, which is the same elephant. And that, so any other projects, I don't know. It's quite possible that you'll see that elephant on a number of other projects too.
Yeah,
but,
we had to kind of combine the idea of our mascot is a butterfly, and because we are building a lot of open source projects on top of Postgres, we try to combine the mascot from Postgres, which is an elephant, with a butterfly. And what Elizabeth managed to put in together, I think, looks really lovely and very colorful and very, it gives you the feeling that it's a new approach on the Postgres.
All right, I have one more kind of general question. Elizabeth, I'd like to describe you and kind of the design team at Xata as like design engineers. My favorite kind of designer. It's design by prototype versus like a Figma file for the most part. And so I don't know. I feel like this is also an opportunity to geek out a bit. Did you use anything new on the website? Like some new technology or anything that I don't know you were excited about when taking this on?
Yeah, I think when you and Monica came with the Postgres powered up, I always had this idea to create something with the text, like an animation, and I was trying like to research how I could do that. And my first idea was using some plugin because I didn't want to overcomplicate. But then I could never find something to do that animation. That I wanted something that really shows that the powered up was like, I don't know, with power. And I researched a lot, and after that, one day I had this idea, and I love like SVGs, and I started researching about using an SVG filter, and I found that we can create like using SVGs. Like there's two filters there. One is the displacement map, and other is the turbulence, and I combined the two to create that powered up effect. And I was pretty happy with that. It doesn't work in Safari because Safari doesn't support. So in Safari, the text is static, but in the other browsers, it works. And I think it was really cool to use that SVG filters. And I was pretty happy with the final result.
Yeah, I think it came out pretty cool. It's certainly unique to our website, and it pairs very well with our brand. And so that was a nice addition. I remember seeing that, waking up one morning and seeing that. That was cool.
Yeah, just
okay.
one thing.
Oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and the other thing was that the animation for the mascot, because as I said before, for a long time I was forcing to put the mascots on the website, and it was never working. And one day I just had this idea: what if the butterfly just appears, and then if we can interact with the butterfly hovering, there's some hearts coming out, and also if you over the button start free, the butterfly also shows some hearts. And I use framer motion for that, and yeah, I was also happy with the result.
And you actually introduced me to a cool tool that I think is like probably my new favorite tool as a product manager, which is Screen Studio, which we use for some of the recordings. That was, I don't know, I'm in love with this tool for things like social and just general like demos. It's pretty cool. All right. Well, I mean, when building the website, it was a lengthy process. We worked on it for a couple of months, making sure that we had our positioning and go to market right, and the different types of messaging that we wanted. And I guess maybe we'll do a bit of a round robin. But Monica, maybe I'll start with you. What was a memorable moment during the kind of like development of the website and before, like really coming up with the messaging and positioning and all that? Was there anything that stands out?
Yeah, we really work quite a lot and change quite a lot many times actually, the positioning and how we position ourselves. And actually I think the biggest issue that we had was that we want to call ourselves a platform, because what we do is more than a database. And the thing is, there isn't any other solution on the market that provides a similar functionality that we do. And we still have this debate, and we have had this debate for a long time, if we should call ourselves a data platform or a database platform. And we've seen, companies are using it both, or are using one or another. So yeah, we think that this is still a debate in our company, but I'm tempting to more use the term of database platform. But anyway, the idea is that we are building a platform on top of Postgres, and we love to hear your thoughts if it should be a database platform called or a data platform.
The best part about a website is we can A/B test, so we can see. Elizabeth, was there anything during kind of development and or planning even about the website that stands out?
Well, I think nowadays with the platforms that we have, using Vercel and having the previews, it's really easy to do the code and then share, and we always have a preview. So for this website, we almost didn't use Figma, just for a few illustrations. A lot of things were like we coded, and we then I screenshot, I put on a Figma, and then I try to figure out the next step of the design. And then we also used a lot of Whimsical with screenshots. So I think having like these tools really helps a lot nowadays, to have like a branch, a feature branch, where everyone can go and see the final result.
I think, in my opinion, having Whimsical was really, it allowed us to really move faster, because it's not only the messaging that we need to figure out, but also how we communicate it, what kind of images we need to build in order to make it easier to understand for each feature that we present. And Elizabeth did a wonderful job in trying to kind of come up with different ideas of what kind of animations or images or videos we need to use for each individual.
Yeah, Elizabeth, there were many times during the creation of this website where I'd put an idea out there and then woke up the next morning to have it like come to fruition from you. And it was pretty, I don't know, those are pretty impressive and really, really interesting. But I would say for me, memorable moment was probably this from Tudor, posted it in Slack. I think you could see it, but this like we were in Whimsical for a while, right? And I just this is a very small subset, lots of iteration. I remember waking up in the mornings where Monica would have a new idea, and you kind of see like another iteration of Whimsical, and I'm sure like the next morning you'd wake up with something different for myself, and so it was a fun back and forth. I don't know, I really enjoyed the creative process here. I think it worked very well. Okay, I have one last question before we jump into a demo, and I'll start with you, Elizabeth. If you could speak to the viewers of your website and your brand, is there any type of feedback that you would like from them specifically?
Um, Not sure, but maybe just a normal feedback if they like the website. Uh, for example, for this website, I decided to remove. We used to have the light and dark theme, but having like the light and dark theme was making like the development very slow because I had to figure out illustrations for light and the illustration for the dark theme, and then I didn't feel like we had the freedom to be too much creative because I was stuck in the two color mode. So at some point I just, okay, let me just design for dark mode. And then if I have time, I can go back and try to figure out the light mode. So maybe it's one of feedback that I would like to have. But we kept the light and dark mode in the documentation side. Maybe you can also enable the blog, but yeah, maybe having that feedback would be good.
Yeah, I'd agree. That'd be nice to know. Monica, was there anything specific you'd like feedback on? You mentioned kind of the Dataverse database platform, but was there anything else that comes to mind?
I mean, what we like, I mean, this is something that probably we can also do with A/B testing. We love, I mean, I'm more interested about the messaging, and I would love to, get the feedback if it's really clear what we are building by just reading the website. I think that's the main important thing for us.
Yeah, I'd agree. And like one of the choices that we made with the website itself was to have almost more of a feature oriented approach to talking about the platform, like saying these are the different aspects of the platform, versus maybe being more broad about pain points that we're trying to address. And so any feedback around that would be certainly useful as well. Okay. I think that's it. And let's transition over to a kind of a walkthrough of the website. And then Elizabeth, if you want to show off any of your sweet coding skills, we could do that too. But I'll let you share your screen.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to show is the famous feature branch that shows like all the PRs that we had. We also had like this to-do list and a very big test plan. So at the end, when we are merging, we make sure that everything would work as expected. And I can show the code. I could show on VS Code, but I think I can show like this. As you can see, we had a lot of conversation going, a lot of people that jump into the PR to help, 250 commits, 241 files changed, and a lot of new insertions. And also, we right now, like our app, this website is part of a monorepo where the Xata app lives, and also we have a design system. So one thing that we do is some components that we also want to make sure that works in the app. We put in the design system that I can show here. So we have like, for example, the logos. We introduced new logos, and it's part of the design system because this way you can use also in the Xata app. So when we are coding, we try to do this. Is it to do like this question? Is it a component that is only going to live in the website, or do we also need this component in the app? If the answer is we need it in the two platforms, we put in the design system. If not, it's part of the app, the website. And for this, you can see we had a lot of new feature pages, branching, full text search. So a lot of and new components. So that's the code. And that's the new website. Maybe I can do a refresh. Yeah, it's very fast. And then the butterfly appears. And the interaction with this butterfly is basically you can hover it and it shows these hearts. And then also if you click start free, she's kind of happy because you're going to use our product. And then we have these cards, like this card component. It's called the spotlight card because when you hover it, there's a light on the background that appears. It's very minimal. And we had a few interactions, like initially it was very present, and then we decided just to make it like more minimal. More things like these illustrations also at first they were very visible, and then we had a little bit of opacity, so the text is more important. On over it we show properly the illustration. Then also we have like this carousel that shows some use cases. That's the famous videos that Alex was saying that we recorded with Screen Studio. It's really cool. And for do this, actually, we had to create some scripts, like to try to figure out what we wanted to show, and then we try to record with the script, like and the script is very basic, like you click here, you do this, you do that. Some of the scripts were Alex recording. And then we have this part. Also like these small interactions, like the butterfly that appears. And then we did a refresh of the tweets. Again, like to remove some old ones that we had, add the new ones. And then also the call to actions changed. We tried to introduce, like, we had this illustration for a long time, but we never had a use case for it. We knew that at some point we wanted to have an illustration that is a butterfly cycle. But just one day we finally figure out, okay, let's put it here, because it represents pay as you grow. So it kind of represents the growth, like. And then we have the feature pages. Most of the feature pages are very similar, have the same structure, and we are reusing the same components. Like for the hero section, the description, and it can be a video or an illustration. Then some features. Then it depends. Some pages have some different parts, like this one that has like these components. And then we also right now, because it's the launch week, we have something happening that I'm not going to say. You have to figure out what is this doing here. And then we have other feature page. In this case, it's we're using a video, and the others can be an illustration. In some cases, we have just illustrations. In other, we show code snippets. And then also introduce this explore more resources. That is a component where we show like blog posts related with this page. And then we have also a new menu item that is the open source. So we have two open source projects, the PG Roll and the PGZX. And it's also the structure of the page is very similar to the others. We're using the same components. Also, we introduced this that maybe then Monica can talk a little bit about it, that we are focusing more on creating like more open source projects. So this is very important for us to show that we're also giving to the community. And so we now have this GitHub here. Also refreshed old pages, introducing the new brand. Just very similar. We just changed the small details. And one thing that I forgot to say, like the famous animation, there is this that uses the SVG filter. And I think that's it. That's the.
I would maybe show the launch page too.
Yeah,
some pretty cool stuff there.
So for this page, it's the launch week page. So this structure is similar. We'll also introduce our icon for Postgres, because the original icon, as a designer, I don't like that much. So we decided one day I created this one, and then I said, should we just use our own Postgres icon? And we decided to use it. And for this page, we try to have like different cards for each day. So today is the day 1 of the launch week, so it's active. And then for the next day, you have to come here and see what is coming, to show what is it's going to appear here. And then we have like this small animation that when you scroll, you have like these. Actually, it seemed very simple to do, and it took me a lot of time to figure out. And then when we finally merged, I saw that on mobile screen it was not working properly. But luckily, Richard, there is a front-end developer who's very good figuring out this thing. And it just changed one line of code, and it made and it worked, by the way. And that's it. So we also have like this mascot that we call the Easter egg. That is part of Easter egg hunt. There is a contest that we're doing right now, where you can win a MetaQuest 3. And yeah, not sure if you want to add something else.
Nope, just a shout out to Richard for his help here. He definitely, on the engineering side, he really helped us kind of get this over the line. So Richard, if you're listening, thank you. I think that's it, Elizabeth. I mean, that was a great walkthrough. It was cool to see the code too. Definitely a lot of work and iteration went into that PR. I remember.
Yeah. Other thing is the docs also had like a very big refresh. So you can find like these new items that is part of the new things that are being released. And we also changed a little bit of the design to like these parts here. The landing page was a little bit different. The code snippets also changed because we changed a little bit the color tokens, and it impacted everywhere. And I was saying before that we decided to turn off the light mode for the rest of the pages, but for the docs, because a part where people go there to learn, and so we decided that in here you should enable the light mode.
Now that you're bringing up the docs, there's one thing actually that I think was kind of cool. If you go to the blog from today, the announcement blog, there's a component that I believe is also used in the docs too, which is one of the benefits of having a monorepo, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's I think it leaves what is Xata here somewhere.
It's either there or on the Postgres part. But
yeah, maybe here. Yeah, that's
there
here.
it is.
Yeah,
I thought
that's really cool.
That caught me by surprise. I didn't expect to see that in the blog. It was pretty cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. I think we can wrap it up unless anyone has anything else they want to add. No.
I just want to thank you, Alex and Monica, for all the help. I felt that I was not doing the website alone. That especially like for when you are like a designer, sometimes people just say, "Oh, we need an illustration for this." And sometimes it takes you a lot of time to figure out what is going to be an illustration. You have to learn about the feature, especially if it's something related with code. Luckily, nowadays we have ChatGPT that you can ask, hey, ChatGPT, where is this? How can I do that? So it's easier to figure out. So can you give me an idea? Normally, it gives really bad ideas, but at least it's helped a little bit. But I think for this, having your help and Monica saying, oh, can you suggest an idea for an illustration? So it helped a lot. So thank you for all the help during the process.
And thank you for being so amazing, Elizabeth. This was truly, I don't know, I really had a lot of fun on this project, and I hope we get to do more like this. But it was a really good kind of a team effort. I don't know. I think it was mostly the three of us, and it was really fun to see the final outcome. For me, at least, this was probably one of the most exciting parts of the week, was getting the website out. It's something that we had been wanting to for quite some time, and so thank you for making it a reality, Elizabeth. It's absolutely wonderful.
And thank you for really an awesome work that you did. I know you, and also I would like to also to add, also thank you for the patience, because I know there were a lot of back and forth. And thanks you for the patience you had. I guess we are not adding this kind of stuff in the final video, or
we can.
Okay.
We can. Okay, well, thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been a really fun week. I hope you enjoyed Launch Week as much as we did, and have a great weekend. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Monica.
Bye, everyone.